Good Thursday morning to you. Welcome to Talkin' Ball. See, had I been Scott Tyson, I would have said, and with that, of course, a well-deserved day off for our buddy Scott Tyson. He is Judy Yarman. That is Chad Guatney. My name is Steve Moulton. Good morning, Drew.
Good morning. Don't like Kyrie Irving. That's the first thing I'm going to say today.
A possibility that he wants to be traded to the ever...
If he hadn't made one jump shot in his career, it would have been total puke.
Talking about a potential trade to the Lakers.
Yeah. I mean, he saved LeDum, and they won the championship for Cleveland.
Well, LeDum is still in Los Angeles.
Yeah, he is now, but he'll probably ask to be traded across town to the Clippers any day, but because they've got a better team than the Lakers. But, I mean, I'm just saying, the NBA makes me sick the way they do it now. I mean, it's just, nobody tries to elevate a franchise. They just cut and run. I love Shannon Sharp. He's not afraid to say that. I mean, Kevin Durant, he's cutting and running after wanting to go to Brooklyn. I don't know why he wanted Kyrie either.
Since we're going here out of the gate, I don't know how much Summer League basketball you've been watching, but I've seen the last two games for the Atlanta Hawks. They have looked awful. And I mean awful. Like, they're not even an NBA team.
Well,
I know it's Summer League. I realize
Scott.
It's Summer League, but goodness gracious.
Yeah, I'm looking at all these blockbuster trades they're trying to come up with, but I mean, it's just whatever happened to staying with an organization and trying to elevate the team instead of cutting and running.
It's a long time ago.
I mean, it's just, it's ridiculous. I mean, that's why I don't watch it, though. I'll freely admit it. I mean, I've watched more, let's put it this way. I've watched more Summer League than I did the playoffs. Okay?
Really?
Yeah. I watched some Summer League. I was watching John Petty. I want to see some people that I grew up watching.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I watched John, playing with the New Orleans Pelicans. And so I wanted to see a little bit of that, see him get some run. And Jared Harper. They both have been getting some time this summer, but I watched a little bit of that. And Chet Holmgren, just to see how some of these young cats because I think but it does crack me up, though, that I get these hot takes from people like they're like, oh, and Jabari Smith from Auburn, seeing how he's gonna
start playing. Saw him the other day.
Yeah, he playing for Houston and Paolo Banchero, and the hot takes is, man, these guys are struggling in Summer League. It's Summer League, you clowns.
Yeah.
Calm down. It's not even real games, okay? And they're playing with teammates they'll never see again. Because as I said about Jaden Shackelford, who's with the Oklahoma City Thunder, happy he's getting an opportunity, but he's either DNPing or getting a minute and a half a game. In other words, tell your agent to find out that where you're playing in Iceland, because that's where you're headed, pretty much.
Coming up on the program today, we're going to talk some golf in hour number 2, the British Open, the Open Championship is...
Hey, my cousin Janet and her husband are actually there, which is cool. And our great friend, frequent guest, golf historian and correspondent at times, Keith Knieber.
Nice.
Yeah, they're
Charlie
they're
Plott will be in studio. He is not at the old course there at St. Andrews. And currently on the leaderboard is Cameron Young at -7. Mm-hmm. He is through 16 holes. Cameron Smith is done with his first round. He's at a -5. Big Easy, Ernie Els.
There you go.
He's at -5.
That's a guy that's been on the sidelines of an Alabama and an Auburn game before.
Yep. Rory McIlroy's at -4. Some other notables include, how about Jacksonville State alum Danny Willett? He is at -2, as is Lee Westwood. Xander Schauffele is at -2.
That's Charlie's boy, Xander Schauffele.
And Justin Thomas
there you go.
is at -2 as
Roll
well.
Tide to that.
Webb Simpson is at -1. And Colin Morikawa is at -1. And Hideki Matsuyama is also at -1.
Hey, have you heard? Is my guy teed off yet? You know my guy in every major. I always root for is Louis Oosthuizen.
I don't see Louis. I do see.
He's probably smoking.
Phil Mickelson, even par. He is done with his first round, as is Billy Horschel, also at at even par. Who had a really bad opening round so far? That would be Mark Calcavecchia at a +3.
Tiger's neighbor.
+3.
So Tiger has not teed off yet, right? Or has he?
No, Tiger. Where are you, Tiger? Tiger tees off. Well, this is local time.
Yeah.
2:59. So
yeah, Scott and I were discussing this. Like, he's been over there a couple weeks, and he's really been playing well.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see if he can go on a little bit of a run this weekend and be a factor.
Also coming up, we are going to talk some Braves baseball, as Bill Shanks is going to join us after our first break. Braves lose yesterday in a day game. 7-3 is that final score. Charlie Moulton continues to struggle on the pillow.
Well, yes, Steve, he did have, I believe, 3 walks, and he gave up 3 home runs. But here's the situation with Charlie Moulton, though. 4 of his last 5 starts before yesterday were good, and his ERA is now actually under 5, which is significant because he was really struggling the first couple of months.
Yeah.
He started to really pitch better. I wouldn't be too concerned about that. Ian Anderson has been better lately, but he and Charlie have struggled. Spencer Strider has kind of been a revelation, even though he struggled with his command a little bit. The starting pitching was disappointing in this series for the Braves because even Max Fried wasn't himself.
Mm-hmm.
We know how good he is. Now, I don't think the Braves, and we'll ask Bill about this. Bill is as good as I speak with when it comes to Atlanta, if they're going to try to add a starting pitcher, because first of all,
there's potential of getting a starting.
Yeah, I was going to say, first of all, you may have one like a trade, which is a Mike Soroka in early August, and secondly, we all know how steep the price is on the trade market for said starting pitching.
Yeah.
So I still think if Alex Anthopoulos makes a deal, that it might be a situation where it is a reliever. I still don't think they're going to go after a bat, because I'm going to tell you something. It cost $1. I was just ranting about this before the show started. $1 for Robinson Cano, okay? He had 3 hits in the series. Yep. He played solid defense. He and Arcia, who has cooled off, still I think are a solid platoon until you get O back, and we don't know when that's going to happen. But Robinson Cano, if he can keep swinging the bat like that, you got the lefty bat you need. So I'm not buying. I've heard some speculation about bringing Jock Peterson back. I don't buy that. I really think they're and Everyday Eddie, by the way, that's the thing I took out of the third game, even though it was a 7-3 whacking.
Yep.
Everyday Eddie had 3 hits. He had 3 hits in his first 44 at bats. He swung the bat well since he got back, Steve. Okay. I think Everyday Eddie,
seeing thing is not overrated.
Yeah, it helps when you don't have a scratched eye and you can actually see the ball coming at you in the outfield and see, when guys are throwing 99, be able to see the spin on the ball. But I'm just saying, Eddie has come back. He swung the bat well. I think they're good lineup wise, and you still may get Ozzie Albies back. We don't know when.
There's still 12 more matchups with the Mets as well. So,
I still think lengthening the bullpen would probably be the best bet. And I thought it was very interesting at the beginning of this week when the Braves made the trade with the Kansas City Royals to get the 35th pick in the draft, and they gave up on Drew Waters. But then when you look at it, and I had not paid attention to how many picks the Braves had in the top 125 or so. I'm going to talk to Bill about this. But the draft coming up Sunday, by the way, it's been pushed back into July.
Yep.
I think they have 5 picks in the top 125 or so. And this is a huge draft because they traded away a lot of capital to get Matt Olson when Freddie Freeh ruined his life and signed with the Los Angeles Dodgers. Love Freddie, always will. I'm not hating on Freddie. He just listened to a moron who he fired, and that's why he's not there anymore. And so But Matt Olson, that trade's worked because I know he's hitting 50 points below Freddie or so, but he's still, look at his power numbers. He's got 52 RBIs, 15 home runs, really good defense. I still think it was a trade that was going to work out for the Braves in the end. But when you did that, though, you traded a lot of prospects.
Yep.
And so they need to reestablish their minor league system. And so this draft coming up and now having over a $10 million salary pool to sign players, to me, probably the Braves, it was a twofold thing. They wanted more money to sign, and they probably have their eyes on someone with that 35th overall pick that they feel like Drew Waters has kind of plateaued a little bit. I still thought he was a good prospect, but at the same time, you've got Rosario under contract next year. You could probably re-sign Duvall to another one-year deal. It's not that big a deal as far as left field right now. And so, if you're the Braves, you can start refurbishing the minor league system if you can have a good draft. And part of that would probably be pitching as well, because they might have a high school pitcher they're looking at, or some. And remember, signability is big with this stuff. Somebody may slip down that the Braves may be able to snag. I'm not going to say it's going to happen, but I would love for somehow Kumar Rocker to end up in a
no
Braves
way he's
uniform.
Going to be there at 35.
Probably not. He's throwing the ball good now, and I know he didn't sign with the Mets last year as the 11th pick, but I still would love it if he ended up coming home, so to speak. Now, again, I think the Braves' first pick is in the 20s, so around 24 or so.
Yeah.
So that's going to be tough. But who knows? There could always be a situation where signability could become an issue. You could always hope.
Media days started yesterday. Big 12 media days started yesterday. And among the notables that spoke included the new commissioner in Yorkmeyer. Here's a little Q&A with the new actually, he's technically not the Big 12 commissioner until August the 1st. That's why Bob Bowlesby was staged right to him yesterday, although I never heard Bowlesby talk yesterday. He was just like a mannequin, much like the mannequins they have up on the stage, dressed up in all the gear. Anyway, here is the new Big 12 commissioner.
I was wondering, when it does come time to negotiate a new media rights deal with TV networks, streamers, whatever it may be, what do you think the top selling points will be when you're talking with those people? How attractive is this conference to new TV networks?
Well, first of all, I'm bullish on the conference. And what we look like today and what we look like when we enter those negotiations could be very different. Obviously, we've got 3 more years with our current partners. I've had a working relationship with ESPN and Fox for many years. I'm big fans of what they do. They're the best in the business. And I look forward to, at the right time, engaging with them on meaningful conversations on how we can enhance and amplify the value equation and how they glamorize and promote and market our great conference. So there aren't any specifics that I can speak to now as far as how we're going to position ourselves differently, because there's a long time between now and when we'll commence negotiation. But I'm looking forward to that moment. And as I said earlier, everything we do from this point forward will lead towards that negotiation period. How we build our brand, how we build our business, conference realignment, all that will probably play a role in whatever dialogue we have.
Well, that's probably
Looking forward to it.
Yeah, I mean, that's probably code for whenever we can work it out when we merge with the Pac-12 and then sign Bill Walton for the new Conference of Champions. Even though I don't know, I can't really see Bill doing Big Ten games, but maybe he will.
Big 12.
I'm saying because his school went to the Big Ten.
Oh,
yeah, yeah.
So now they're the Conference of Champions.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know. He's probably hashtagged that or trademarked it. I just don't know where it'll go. Is it going to go to the Big Ten, or is it going to stay with the Pac-12, Big 12, whatever they end up calling it? You know, I still say that's where we're headed. That the whatever's remaining of the Pac-12 will end up merging with the Big 12. I think they've already been talking about it. I think we're headed to at least 20-team conferences, and I'm talking about the SEC, the Big Ten. And as we've been saying on Talking Ball this week, Steve, and you and Wes probably have broached the subject. We've talked about it with guests. We've talked about it amongst ourselves. Notre Dame is the big, domino right now, seeing what they're going to do. I'm still counting down, though. I want 40 years. That's my big countdown now. 40 years between national championships for Notre Dame. As much bragging as they do and as much bloviating as they do about being the tradition in college football, which is hogwash. It's Alabama. Everybody knows that if you have a functioning brain because of what Nick Saban's done in the last 15 years.
No arguing that.
Notre Dame has not won anything in a long, long time. And so I'm counting down. Like I said yesterday on the show, there was no HD television. There was no DVD. The last time Notre Dame won a national championship, okay? In the Heat of the Night was one of the biggest shows on television, and Matlock, two of my favorite shows of all time. But that was what was on TV back when
you a Matlock guy? I didn't realize you're a Matlock guy.
Absolutely. I watched a ton of Matlock when I was a kid. Yeah.
Of course it is. Of course it is.
That's what I'm saying. Notre Dame has not won anything since the days of Matlock and in the Heat of the Night. Okay? So, and Twitter was just...
What was the name of his investigator? I can't remember the name of his investigator.
Conrad McMasters.
Conrad, thank you.
I told you I was a Matlock guy.
That's why I was asking.
Yeah, and that Conrad was on there before his days on Walker, Texas Ranger.
That's right. Never got into Walker, Texas
I
Ranger.
didn't either. I just remember he was on there though, because the first.
But if you want to get into it, just go.
Oh, I know, but
38.
my mother watches it. But when you watch those old episodes, the first thing that always pops into my head is that's Conrad. You know what I'm saying?
He's on the case.
Yeah, exactly. So, but.
See, for me, that's TBS growing up.
Yeah.
And it's also growing up for me on TBS? The Braves.
Yeah.
The Braves on TBS.
Ernie Johnson Sr.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Some bad baseball back then, but I still enjoyed it.
It was some bad baseball. The secret was my dad took me to a handful of games at Old Fulco where you buy the bad seats.
Yeah,
and you just roll right on down.
Yeah, you just move yourself down. They're not going to say anything. They just want people there.
Well, we're just happy you're here. Let's try to get you in the shot so it looks like people are here at this cavernous big circle in the middle of downtown Atlanta. Yeah. And on the subject of the Braves, we're going to talk some Braves. On the other side, Bill Shanks. Good morning to you. We'll be right back.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Got a new accident on Belltown Drive at First Hill Circle. That one's reported with injuries. Got a motorcycle involved in a wreck. That's 231 at Lincoln Road. And we had a pedestrian struck by a vehicle at Winchester and Delmont. They've cleared that one, so apparently it's out of the way now. A lot of fog this morning, and we got a water main break, Wall, Triana, and Quail Road in Madison. 2030 Fast Track can make your clothes fall off. Allison lost 100 pounds in 7 months on the plan. A free hormone quiz will tell you if the program can work for you. 2030huntsville.com. Captain Nick in the 72 and Jeff Popeye Skywatch Traffic Center.
Mercury Motors is your car and van rental headquarters. You can rent the vehicle you need today. Family in town, sporting event, church function, no matter what your need, Mercury Motors has you covered with a wide selection of cars and vans available for rent. They have 12-passenger Mercedes Sprinter vans, 12-passenger Ford Transit vans, 15-passenger Ford Transit vans, and 15-passenger Chevrolet Express vans. They have 2 locations, Highway 72 in Athens or Max Luther Drive in Huntsville.
I'm attorney Gary Lackey. You'll hear people say we're like a family, but here at the Lackey Law Firm, that's really true, not just a saying.
I'm Justin Lackey. With my father and my sister, we have a special connection to each other.
I'm Jennifer Lackey. At the Lackey Law Firm, when we take on your case, you become part of our family. You really do.
and will always do whatever it takes to get everything you deserve.
If you're injured, you worry about getting well, not about paperwork or insurance companies or figuring out how to get to your lawyer's office. I'll come to you.
We worry about your case so you don't have to.
When you've been injured, we know that your case is probably the biggest thing going on in your life, more important than almost anything else.
And it's important to us too, for one simple reason. Family takes care of each other, and at the Lackey Law Firm, we'll take care of you.
The Lackey Law Firm. The Lackey Law Family. 1-800-4RIGHTS.
No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
Great food and the best live entertainment is what it's all about at the Furniture Factory Bar and Grill. Head to downtown Huntsville every Tuesday for karaoke on the only outdoor karaoke stage in North Alabama. Thursday night is the Valley's longest running and biggest bike night. Food and drink specials, giveaways, and live music on the patio. And the Furniture Factory menu is fully loaded with options from steaks to salads, plus a whole lot more. Featuring a weekday happy hour that starts at 3. 619 Meridian Street, downtown Huntsville, and online at FurnitureFactoryBarGrill.com.
Are you in the market for a recreational vehicle? Do you want to get out and see more of this beautiful country? Well, imagine hearing the laughter of your little ones enjoying gooey s'mores by a cozy campfire and making lasting memories with your friends and family from the comfort of a new camper. We can make your dreams come true at Hall's RV. With over 15 years in the camping business, we know how to get our customers into the perfect camper. We have several models and floor plans here for you to choose from, both new and used. We're family owned and operated with fantastic deals and great service. Everyone wants to work with people they can trust, so come on down to Hall's RV and get the deal of a lifetime. We'll treat you right and get you on the road in the camper of your dreams. Visit us on Highway 431 in Albertville. Hall's RVs, where we sell fun. Or see us on the web at www.hallsrvsales.com.
In 1982, Bob Baumhauer introduced Alabama to the Buffalo Wild Wing, and quite frankly, we've never been the same. Back then, it was Wings and Things in Tuscaloosa, but now, 40 years later, after 4 name changes, Baumhauer's Victory Grill is the #1 sports-themed restaurant in the state. Bob's Alabama Hot Chicken is something that has to be tried to believe, plus the new Bam Bam Chicken and the Louisiana-style Go Fish, a whitefish over rice topped with shrimp etouffee. And Baumhauer's is fighting inflation with some new affordable favorites. Visit Baumhauer's on the South Parkway today.
Hey folks, this is Arthur Seaton, managing partner at University Kia, here letting you know we are proud supporters of Alabama A&M University football. Stop into University Kia today and shop our large selection of new Kias, including the all-new Telluride 8-passenger SUV, the stylish new K5, and sporty new Seltos. Visit universitykia.com and view all our great offers and get pre-approved in minutes so you can drive home your new Kia today, because we want to see ya in the Kia. Go Bulldogs!
Local sports is covered right here.
Well, appreciate what you guys do for sports, but also for high school sports and taking time to talk to us. That means a lot, and appreciate what you guys do, and appreciate you having us on.
97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This is Paul Feinbaum. Listen to me coming up today at 2. Now back to Talking Ball with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Back here with you on a Thursday morning, along with Judy Yarman. My name is Steve Moulton, talking all things Matlock this Thursday morning. I don't know if Bill Shanks knows what he's getting himself into, as we are, at least in my world, reliving the good old days when, you know, the Braves used to be on TBS. 7:35 start times. It was always a 5 at the end. And that was done because Ted Turner wanted his own line on the TV guide after everything starts at 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock. He wanted his own line. And now, anyway, I digress as painfully as I can to our next guest, Judy Yarman. You do the honors, sir. This is your program.
Absolutely. He's one of my great friends. It's been a while since we've caught up with him since the season started. But he is the best source there is to me when it comes to the Atlanta Braves. You can hear him here in our market on the superstations.com. He is, of course, the host of the Bill Shanks Show, Sports Radio WXKO 93.1 FM in Macon and Rochelle, 98.3 in FM on Warner Robins in South Central Georgia, 105.9 Warner Robins, 41 NBC. As they say, they call it the superstations.com.
There you go, Superstation.
Exactly.
That's what I'm
He
talking
is on
about.
each and every afternoon on the Bill Shanks Show, and you can hear it from 3 to 7 Eastern Time and 2 to 6 Central in our market. But it's always great to catch up with our next guest, and we're going to talk some Atlanta Braves after this series with the New York Mets and heading into this All-Star break. 4 games remaining as they will be on the road in Washington tonight with our good friend Kyle Wright, our local kid, going for his 11th win. Bill, it's great to talk with you again. You're with Drew and Steve Moulton. How are you?
Hey, Drew. Good morning. How are you doing?
We're doing well, sir. And what do we take from this series? You don't want to overreact at all. I was a little disappointed, though, in the starting pitching for the Atlanta Braves in all 3 games. They did take the second game 4-1, but they fell a little short in this first chapter. But 12 meetings left with this Mets ball club. But what were your biggest takeaways?
Well, 15, as a matter of fact, meetings left. So they've got a ton of games left with this team. But look, I'm disappointed. I mean, we wanted to see them win the series. There's no question about that, Drew. But I think there's no reason for doom and gloom. They've got 70 games left. They have a lot of baseball to go. I mean, Brian Sicker said on Sunday, we're not going to win the division this week, and you know what? They weren't going to lose it this week either. They're still 2.5 out. I think we'd be really disappointed if they had gotten swept, but they did not. They won the second game, as you said. So they just got to play these 4 games in Washington, win the series, get to the All-Star break healthy, and have a little rest and come back next Friday. The big thing I'm disappointed in is they didn't win the series. Mm-hmm. I'm disappointed when they don't win any series because that's their goal every time out is to win the series. So they didn't. They'll get them next time, and every game of the Mets is going to be just tremendously huge.
Is there any rational argument on you-know-who not being an all-star at third base?
No.
I mean, I totally agree with that answer, by the way.
No, I mean, it's just ridiculous. He leads the National League for third baseman in almost every major offensive category. I'm shocked. I'm still shocked. I mean, I know it's not Brian Snicker's decision. Yeah. This proves that because I'm sure he would have done everything in his power to make sure his third baseman would have been there. But the Garrett Cooper thing yesterday was like, what the heck is going on here? That just made no sense whatsoever. So I don't know unless, Austin Riley was listening to the Bill Shanks show during the lockdown and said the same things that I did about the commissioner and pissed him off. I don't know what could have happened.
I don't blame you for saying that about Manfred.
You remember last year during the All-Star break, he said he went home and power washed his driveway, and that kind of fueled his second half of the season. So maybe this will give him a chance to power wash his driveway again.
I guess. Look, he's a tremendous player. He's becoming the best third baseman in the sport. We're right there with Nolan Arenado, who about a year and a half ago was a potential Brave for Austin Riley, but I don't think it was very serious. But nonetheless, I mean, that would have had to happen probably for them to get Arenado, who's a great player, and he's one of my favorite players. But Austin Riley's always been a favorite of mine. I think he's always had the ability to have that just multi-tool game. I mean, he's got the defense at third base. He's got the power. He's just become so much of a better hitter along the way. I mean, the swing is so much better. The swing was always there, but the swing is so much more consistent and not going after the unbelievable pitches, the breaking balls that he did in his early time. That kid always got better in his minor league career. He always would go get promoted in the second half of the year, and when he would come back to the same level the next year to start, he would always get better. And I always took note of that. It's like, he adjusts and advances as he goes along and gets more comfortable. And he's doing it in the big leagues.
He really is. We're talking to Bill Shanks, the Bill Shanks Show, the Superstations. .net, going to be on with us right now, talking some Atlanta Braves going into the All-Star break. Bill, I will say this, the two underlying things that I took from the series that I'm excited about heading into this 4-game road swing in Washington and into the second half is getting Tyler Matzik back. He looks like he's getting back to being himself, which is a huge part of this bullpen. And then Eddie Rosario, coming back from the extended stay on the DL with since late April. He was such a big part of the playoff run, but having him back and having Matzik, I thought they look like they're going to become big pieces of this deal going forward.
Well, I agree. This is a great roster. This is a really, really good roster, and I think obviously getting Matzik back helps a great deal. They missed Kenley Jansen because everything kind of got out of sorts as far as the order of the bullpen. Having Rosario back allows for the platoon in left, and I think that's going to work very well in the second part of the season. And so, no, look, there are so many positives of this team that I don't want for pretty much yesterday's loss to get people depressed. I mean, I know they've got to beat the Mets. There's no doubt about that. I've been saying for 6 weeks as they've gotten back on track with their record. I mean, look, this is going to come down to the games they have head-to-head with New York, and they've got to play well in those games. There's no question about it, and it's going to be tough. Mets are not what they were last year. They're better, and they've got better everything, to be honest with you, compared to last year. Better manager, better defense, better pitching, better offense, better lineup. I mean, they're going to be tough, but I think to have the depth they have, and for example, the bullpen with Matzik back, and when Kirby Yates joins this roster at some point in the second part, that's going to be even better. I'm sure there's going to be some kind of trade at some point, which will probably bring in someone that will be even better. And to have Rosario back, I mean, that lineup's very impressive, especially with Harris taking over in center and doing what he's doing, and everybody seeming to be very, very solid. This is a very deep team. This is one of the deeper teams they've had this century, to be honest with you, and I think we're in for a very good second part of the season.
Bill, who do you have first coming back for this team this year, Soroka or Ozzie Albies? Well, which one is likely to come back first?
Well, Ozzie, probably. I mean, I think we need to pump the brakes on Soroka a little bit, and here's why. Kid hadn't pitched in 23 and a half months. Yeah. The big leagues. He threw a bullpen session the other day. Now, look, I love Mike Soroka. I think he's outstanding young man. And if anybody's going to come back from this situation, it's going to be him. I don't want for us to put pressure on him when it's not necessary, because he's not, quote unquote, needed. If there was some huge glaring hole in the rotation, we may have a more dire situation than, we got to get him back. We got to get him back. They don't. They may make a trade for a starting pitcher. Or then what are you going to do with Soroka? And Soroka, anything he can do in the second part of this season or in October is going to be gravy. Because look, this guy literally, he's got to get his feet underneath him. He's got to make sure he can be sustainable. He says his arm is very strong, and there's no question that's probably true because he hadn't had to pitch in a long time. But I think we need to be very cautious about overestimating the potential contribution to Mike. And look, I'm not doubting him. The last thing I would want is for him to listen to this and say, "Oh boy, he doesn't have faith in me." I just don't want, since there's not a quote-unquote need, I don't want for there to be the pressure of expecting him to come back and, he's going to make 10 starts and have an ERA under 3 again and be the same guy he was in 2019. This guy's had 2 major injuries to his leg, to his foot. And I'd rather be surprised at whatever he can contribute compared to expecting it to happen. I don't think we need to have the conversation of what's going to happen with Spencer if Soroka comes back. Look, there's no reason to move Spencer Strider out of the rotation for someone who hadn't pitched in 2 years. That's just foolish. So let's just let nature take its course, see where he is, see what he can do in August with his rehab, see how he looks, see how his arm is, see how his arm adjusts to being back on a regular schedule. I mean, there's a lot of check marks for him to have to check off, but a lot of boxes for him to have to come back and contribute right away, boom, 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 in a pennant race. So let's just see how it goes with him.
We're talking to Bill Shanks, host of the Bill Shanks Show on the Superstations.com. And Bill, it's a perfect segue there, though. You talked about Spencer Strider, what a revelation he has been, but we'd be remiss if we didn't bring up tonight's starting pitcher and his development as an Atlanta Brave. I know last year was huge for him in AAA, I think, maturing. And then in the postseason, especially in the World Series, I thought that's when he broke through. He certainly had an all-star caliber first half. I think he should be on the all-star team, but neither here nor there. If it hadn't been for some weather, he'd already have 11 wins. He's going for number 11 tonight. He's been one of the better starters, I think, in the major leagues in the first half. But talk about Kyle Wright's development and what you've seen.
A year ago I was saying it may not be a bad idea for Kyle to be involved in one of the trades they're going to make to improve the team. He may need a change of scenery, kind of like what we saw with Drew Waters the other day. But while I was saying that, all along he was staying down in Gwinnett, and he was not being touched, and he was not being bothered, and he was getting better. And then I remember someone telling me late in the year, he said, Kyle Wright's had a really good year. And I'm like, well, his numbers are good. He said, no. His stuff is outstanding. And then we saw in Game 4 of the World Series when, as Brian Snitker said, he won the World Series game with that performance when he came in relief for the opener, that there was something different. And Kyle Wright before would not have come out in Game 4 of the World Series and done what he did. There's just he didn't have the confidence. He didn't have it just wasn't there yet. And Kyle Wright's an example of the notion that everybody should have, and that is that not all prospects are on the same expected schedule. A lot of people thought obviously he was a Vanderbilt pitcher. He was a college pitcher. He's going to be up there quick and contribute, and it just took him a little bit longer. And there's nothing wrong with that. And that time down in AAA last year, when they left him alone, and there was no question. I was almost blaming the organization. They're ruining Kyle Wright by up and down, up and down, up and down. I mean, Tukey Toussaint may say, you ruined me because of the same thing. That, unfortunately, is the purpose of some pitchers who can't stick. If they're kind of unable to stick, and they're going to go back down on a pennant contending team. You can't just stick with a pitcher who's going to struggle for 3 months when you're trying to win a pennant. And so Tukey Toussaint and Sean Newcomb and Kyle Wright were unable to stick, and therefore they went back down. Well, that wasn't good for their career. But last year, him being left alone and just let him be down there. Let's get through this the best we can, and if we need a starting pitcher, let's not call Kyle Wright. It probably pissed him off a little bit, but in hindsight, it was the best thing that happened for him. He was able to develop. He was able to get better. He was able to concentrate on what he was doing and simply pitch. Not have to worry about, if I do this game, I'm going to go up. No, he just pitched. He just simply pitched, and he got better, and we're seeing the results. And we're seeing why he was almost the first overall pick in the draft that year. He thankfully fell to Atlanta with the 5th pick in the draft that year, and we're seeing him come together. So it's a great story, and I love watching him pitch. I love confidence. I love the differences that he's made in his game. Seeing Brian Snitker have faith in him and him realize that faith has been great for his game. So, look, this guy's the real deal, and I love what I'm seeing, and I think everybody should.
Bill, I usually have one thing. Sometimes it's more than one thing. As long as I've been a lifelong Braves fan since I was a little kid, but usually there's one thing that just makes me roll my eyes with every team every year. This year, it's the guy patrolling left field when he's out there. When Marcell Ozuna is in left field, it just bothers me to no end.
So we don't have to worry about that anymore because Rosario's back.
Yes.
And it'll be Duvall and Rosario. So you shouldn't have to be bothered by that at all. He ought to be able to stay at the DH role and just go up there and hit, which he does very well.
No more sliding.
I'm good with that.
And trying to catch the ball, yeah.
But the bullpen, I mean, so many years it's been this arm coming out of the bullpen. Oh, no, here we go. But this bullpen has been unbelievable, Bill.
Really good, yeah.
Well, it has, and I, again, with Kenley out the last 2 weeks, it's been kind of out of sorts and out of order. But he's back now, so that's great. No, there's tremendous strength in this bullpen. To have Matzek back, as you said, Drew, is so important. I mean, Mentor is just having a phenomenal year, which is great. He could be an all-star himself. I think we're seeing Colin McHugh kind of settle into a role now where I think Dylan Lee has been outstanding overall. I really like what we've seen from Dylan Lee. Yeah, this is a deep bullpen. I mean, this is the kind of bullpen that'll win you a World Series. And it helped last year when Will Smith did give up a single run for a whole month. That kind of helped the cause. But this is a strength. I mean, this team 1 through 26 is really, really good. And I don't know if they're going to meet the Mets. I don't know if they're going to win the division. I think they're going to make the playoffs, and
yes.
I hope they're the team with the top record in the playoffs because that's a good position to be in. To be honest with you, a top wild card position, I should say. It's a really good position to be in. I mean, they would host the number 5 team, which right now is the Padres, for a 3-game series in Atlanta in that first round setup now. So that would be a bad thing. I mean, I want to win the division. Don't get me wrong, but that would not be a bad thing to be the first wild card team. But I think this is a strong team, and there's no doubt in my mind that Alex Anthopoulos, if he sees an upgrade potential possibility, he's going to make it before August the 2nd.
And, Bill, I know you've mentioned a starting pitcher that usually the price is so steep there. Do you think it would be a starting pitcher? Would it be an arm to lengthen the bullpen? I think the lineup is good enough, especially if they get Ozzie Albies back. But even spending the dollar on Robinson Cano, I like what I saw out of Cano in the Mets series. He looked good. I think RC has done a solid job. That's a nice, basically platoon till you get Ozzie back. But what is the move in your mind that Alex might make?
Well, I'm going to say, Drew, it's simply an upgrade. If they feel like there is an upgrade out there at any spot, I made this comparison yesterday. It's going back 24 years or so. But when Fred McGriff was traded from Atlanta to Tampa, and they turned around and signed Andres Galarraga, they thought that was an upgrade. And look, we love Fred, we love Freddie, and he was great for the Braves. They thought, I think incorrectly, but regardless, they thought that Fred could not hit in Turner Field. They had made the transition to Turner Field. His power numbers were down in Turner Field. So they were like, we need a right-handed power hitter for first base instead of what Fred brings to the table. So they thought that was an upgrade. Now, that was an off-season acquisition, but still, they were going for upgrades. They thought that's what they needed. When McGriff was brought in, they were upgrading from Sid Bream, right? I mean, that was 30 years ago, but it's the same kind of concept. I think when we see a deal, it's not going to be out of need. They don't need anybody. Can this team go to the playoffs right now with what they've got on the roster? Yeah. And I think they'd be a team that no one else would want to play, to be honest with you. But I think Alex Anthopoulos is too aggressive. Now, I do think the other teams are going to try to absolutely rob the Braves blind because you don't want to help the World Series champions, right? You just you're not going to want to do that. And the Braves have tradable commodities that are in their farm system, so it's going to be real interesting 3 weeks to see kind of what happens. They don't need to go out and make 6 trades between the All-Star break and the trade deadline like they did last year. So that's going to make it a different season, if you will, for trades. But I think I'm not going to say by any means that cat's not going to make a deal or two because he wants to make this team better.
Can we pay Dansby right now? Can we just please pay Dansby right now so we don't have to deal with this stuff during the offseason?
Can you guarantee me that he's going to hit like this for the next 5 years?
No,
Okay.
But I know for a fact that we've seen the progression.
I think he's gotten better, though,
there's
Bill,
no
in
doubt.
my opinion, yeah.
If every player could play like they're playing for their contract, right?
Well, there's no doubt. You have to balance the fact of, all right, he's in a contract year. Is this just an anomaly, or is this him, as you said, progressing into the type of player that we all thought he could be? And I mean, I'd prefer to keep him. There's no doubt about that. I think there's a limit to where I would go with him, and I think it'll be interesting to see how the Braves proceed. I mean, I don't think it's a very good sign that he's not signed yet. I mean, we saw that didn't work last year, right? And so you have to kind of wonder about that. But no, he's having a fantastic year. I'm happy for him. He's going to get paid more money than he'll ever spend the rest of his life on this earth. And I hope it's with Atlanta.
I do too, and I can't wait to continue to see the progression of Michael Harris. What a
oh my God,
just a revelation he's been, Bill.
He's been great. He's been outstanding. You never know how a kid's going to come up and what he's going to do and how he's going to perform, but this kid's been outstanding, and he's so fun to watch. There's so many different levels of his talent, of what he can bring to the table. When I went to the game on Monday, I said, this is the first time I've ever seen him, because I was going to see him in spring training of 2020, and something happened that made me not be able to go back. I can't remember exactly what that. Oh yeah, it was the pandemic that about ruined our earth. But anyway, he's just bringing so much to the table, and that's the strength of this team. I mean, you've got so many variables, including two rookies who are they're just kicking ass. Let's be honest. I mean, they're just off the chain good. And they're just doing everything that you would want a rookie to do. And to add that to a World Series champion team, and a team that got back a couple of players that weren't even on their World Series champion team. I mean, this is a different roster. A different first baseman. We got a right fielder that's different. We got obviously the DH that's different. We got different pitchers. We've got Spencer Strider. We've got Kenley. This is a different team than what won on November the 2nd. And that's not a bad thing, because it's tough to repeat. This is tough to repeat. I mean, the Georgia Bulldogs aren't going to find that out, because it's going to be so damn easy. It's going to rock Drew's mind. But I mean, for the most part, repeating is very difficult. And so to have a little bit of a different roster, and to have the elements of a Michael Harris and a Spencer Strider and Kyle Wright doing what he, this is think about how much better this team looks right now than they did not only a year ago, but even November 2nd.
Yeah,
Bill, you can't say that without me saying "Go Dogs" right there. But
oh my God, Drew DeArmond hired a Georgia fan.
Go Dogs. Wow, mark that tape there, Chad Watney. If there is kind of one last glaring issue, it's around the game of baseball and balls and strikes. I mean, that series in particular drove me bananas on, one, who was calling strikes, and two, I really want an automated strike zone like yesterday.
Well, I'm getting to the point where I do too, because these guys are ridiculously bad, and I don't. First of all, I don't see anybody addressing it. I don't think any of the reporters have any of the cojones to ask Rob Manfred or any of the people in Major League Baseball where the umpiring is so. There's a lot of young umpires now. These aren't the same umpires from the 90s and the 2000s, and even the 2010s. Just a new era of umpiring, and I don't think it's necessarily a very good one. It's mainly because of the consistency. What is a strike? Define it for me, and then go and call it consistently, and they don't. And so it drives people crazy, drives pitchers crazy. I mean, sounds like excuses, but Max Fried got squeezed a little bit on Monday night.
Yeah.
I'm not taking anything away from Max Scherzer, but still, it's like you don't want to have to lean on an excuse of, well, they're just not but they're not. They're not very good, and it's like, I don't know. I don't know what the answer is, because Rob Manfred has all the answers. Just ask him.
He certainly does. Well, and you certainly have all the answers for us, for the Atlanta Braves. We appreciate you joining us, Bill. Have a great show, and then we hope to see you in Atlanta, in your backyard at SEC Media Days, certainly. But certainly the superstations.com, you can catch Bill Shanks talking Braves, talking Georgia, talking sports talk in that great city, and of course, throughout the state of Georgia. But we always appreciate your time and talking Braves with us, and of course the national champion Georgia Bulldogs. I did say it.
There you go. Go Dogs. Go Dogs.
But Bill, we appreciate it, and we hope to see you next week.
If I get Brett Beard to buy me, might actually go, Drew, and you can come as well. So I'm not holding my breath anyway. But always a pleasure to be on your show. Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you, Bill.
Thank you, Bill.
Let's take our final time out. This is our Tom Abraham break here early on a Thursday. Big Dog.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Got some fog to deal with this morning, and we got a couple of wrecks to watch out for. Belltown and First Hill Circle, that one had an injury involved. 231 in Lincoln Road, that one also involved a motorcycle. Injuries reported there. Water main break in Madison, Wall, Triana, and Quail Road. Cajun Rice is back at Popeyes, and their 11-piece chicken family meal, 2 sides, 5 biscuits, is now only $22.99. Popeyes, University, and Jordan, 72 in Jeff and North Parkway. Captain Nick in the Popeyes Skywatch Traffic Center.
AVIQ. Who is AVIQ? AVIQ is audiovisual the intelligent way, where we put our IQ to work for your AV needs. With more than 100 years combined experience in audio, video, and automation, our team of experts is dedicated to one thing, helping you discover technological solutions that make your home special. Once you experience a game or a movie on one of our state-of-the-art home theater systems, you may never leave the house again. AVIQ can build the entire system for you or provide the quality components if you're a do-it-yourself. But AVIQ is more than just home theater and state-of-the-art sound systems. We offer a variety of control options for home technology. Energy efficiency, heightened security, and improved quality of life are all attainable through the automation of home systems. Intuitive and user-friendly control is our main priority in designing a system that meets your needs. Don't just take our word for it. You need to see it to believe it. Come visit us at our state-of-the-art showroom on University, just east of Jim and Nick's, across from AT&T, or visit aviqhsv.com.
Normally, when you call a roofing company, all you hear is, you need a new roof. Not when you call Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Since 1965, the folks at Fleming have been focused on what you need, whether it's an easy repair or a full roof replacement, commercial or residential. And when it comes to storm damage, you want Fleming on your side. They know all the ins and outs of insurance claims and will guide you through the entire process. Log on FlemingHSV.com and book your free estimate today. Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penny Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penny perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penny Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penny Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPennyToyota.com. Bill Penny's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
We cover all the SEC schools, including Western Union and Venmo.
I want that money!
You know, 97.7 ESPN The Zone. This segment of Talkin' Ball is brought to you by University Kia, the #1 volume Kia dealer in the state of Alabama. Located online at universitykia.com.
Let's try to squeeze in a phone call before we hit the top of the hour. Richard has been holding. Appreciate your patience, Richard. Good morning.
Thanks, Rich.
Morning, guys. Morning on the Major League Draft. I'm an expert now. I've been under COVID lockdown, so I'm finally back out in the real world here. But basically, Rocker is about the only pitcher. Most of the other ones are hurt, kind of like the Bama guy, Free-Lip.
Yeah, he is. Yeah,
so it's mainly hitters. It's a hitter draft because I think they were saying outside of Walker, maybe the first 20 picks might be hitters.
Oh, nice. Just keep tick, and bring it on down.
And Andrew Jones' son will probably be the #1 or #2 pick.
Unreal.
Drew Jones is the best prospect. Best high school prospect anyway. But I'm not sure if Baltimore will take him or not. But like I said, pitcher-wise, they said most of the college or high school guys ended up, like blowing their arms out.
Yeah,
so,
I've heard that.
But like I said, hitter-wise, but they said the Braves, like you said, they have something in mind with the money. like you said, to kind of restock the farm system.
Yeah, they do, no doubt.
Thank you, Richard.
Yeah, guys, see you.
There is a new top 40 college football poll that is out from Phil Steele. And also, Vegas has updated their national championship odds late last night. And there's a couple of teams that have snuck into the top 5 that even I'm like, what? What? We'll get Judy Yarman's thoughts on that in hour number 2. But coming up next, we're going to tee it up.
Pot performance.
Is he going to get teed off? Or am I thinking of another show?
No.
We'll be back.
If you're ready to lower your utility bills, it's time to call Eagle Insulation. Eagle can handle it all. Attic re-insulation, insulation removal, wall insulation, and new construction insulation, commercial and residential. Our primary goal is to save you money, and lots of it. Typical clients realize their return on investment within 3 to 6 months. That means the re-insulation actually pays for itself and then some. See if we can help you. Contact Eagle Insulation today, 256-755-1556, or log on insulatewitheagle.com.
Tom Luganbill here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
WZZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A mostly to partly sunny sky this afternoon. It's honestly going to be a beautiful Thursday across the Tennessee Valley. Temperatures climbing into the upper 80s and lower 90s. Dropping into the upper 60s, lower 70s as we head into the overnight. A mostly sunny sky for your Friday. Temperatures once again climbing into the lower 90s. Maybe an isolated shower both Thursday and Friday. Odds are better than not. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Good morning from the traffic center. Our last reported accident was Patterson Lane near Plantation. That one came in with injuries. 231 and Lincoln Road had a motorcycle involved, injuries there. Southbound Moores Mill at 72 turned out to be a no injury. Belltown at First Hill Circle, that one was reported as an injury type. From routine care to heart failure, Dr. Randall Burns and the team at Huntsville Heart Specialists on Bob Wallace Avenue have the expertise to care for all matters of the heart. Captain Nick in the Jordan Lane Popeye Skywatch Traffic Center.
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Baseball, the All-Star break next week. The American League favorite to win the Home Run Derby at -220. The National League at +180. Pete Alonso of the Mets representing the National League, looking for his third straight Home Run Derby title. Boxing, undefeated lightweight Ryan Garcia, a heavy favorite over Javier Fortuna Saturday night in L.A. Garcia -1400. The challenger +700. Rory McIlroy, the +1000 favorite to win the Open Championship and his fifth major. 3 players behind him at +1600 in John Rahm, Jordan Spieth, and Xander Schauffele. A day after being named an honorary member at St. Andrews, along with McIlroy, Tiger Woods, a +6500 long shot. Red hot winning picks at experts.winnersandwhiners.com. Save 75% on any best bet package with the promo code ACTION75. That's ACTION75 at experts.winnersandwhiners.com.
I'm Trey Westerberg, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Log on today, 977ESPN.com. Welcome to Talkin' Ball with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline now, 256-576-4977. That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Scott and Drew.
If you haven't, you need to download the app. Just search 977 ESPN in your Google Marketplace or your Apple Store. That way, with this next sentence will not seem strange to you. The first private investigator for Ben Matlock was Tyler Hudson.
Hudson!
Tyler Hudson.
Dang it! I got the Tyler part.
Tyler Hudson.
Then it was Conrad McMasters.
That's right. So,
dang it! I had it, and I had his face. I mean, come on, Tyler Hudson. Why didn't I get that?
So, for those of you just joining us looking at your radio like you're looking at your radio right now, just go back and listen to hour number 1. And all things Ben Matlock. Yes, we dove into that in hour number 1.
His dad was Charlie Matlock, by the way.
Well, we got Charlie Plott.
Speaking of Charlies.
How are you, Charlie? Good morning.
I am good.
Our golf analyst is with us as the British Open, or quote-unquote the Open Championship at St. Andrews is underway. And we have people on the ground there. We have Janet and Andy Latham, my cousins, who are there, who have been for the last few weeks doing a vacation in Scotland. And then we have Keith Knieber, who is a frequent guest on the show, does a great job for Auburn Live on 3, covering the Tigers.
On 3 now.
Yeah, on 3 now with Keith after 10 years with 24/7. He's with On 3. He's on the ground because, as he told me, he inherited a bunch of frequent flyer miles. He goes together with friends of his, and they vacation. They do things like this, and he's across the pond. So we have people on the ground, and now we have Charlie Plott to tell us what he liked so far. Because we always have to remember with the Open/British Open Championship, it starts because of the time change a lot earlier, and we're already over halfway done with round 1, Charlie.
Yeah, and I turned it on this morning, and all I see is par 4 after par 4 after par 4 being driven from the tee. You hear of pitch and putt courses.
Yeah,
I think this is a drive and putt course today. The winds are down. They were in the 30-mile-an-hour range all during practice, and now all of a sudden they're 10 or 12, and it is crazy. It is not going to surprise me if somebody doesn't shoot in the 50s today if the wind stays down.
Wow.
Cam Young is winning. He's 8 under. 18 is a 352-yard par 4, and folks are hitting hybrids and woods onto the green and, having eagle putts. It is there for the taking. The technology, there's just only so much you can do in this place. So I hope for the wind to blow and it looked like a normal golf course. But on one of the holes, I believe it was maybe 8 or 9, I watched 2 guys drive, and they used 3 woods and hit it within 10 feet of the hole from the tee. So it makes me sick because I get up and I'm like, this isn't the way it was meant to be. That means I'm getting old. Is that right, Steve? You can relate to that, right?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
I have no idea. For these people listening, my age is Xavier Dixon, if you can figure out what that means. Yeah. Or Wayne Davis.
Wayne Davis.
Yeah.
So people have already asked me, Chad did when I walked in, who do I like in this one? And it is hard to pick because if the wind doesn't blow, the top of the leaderboard's full of Americans and people are.
And a South African.
And
one of my favorite South Africans. That's like taking him back in a time machine right now so far.
Speaking of old, Ernie. Big
Ernie Els. I always ask about Oosthuizen. He's probably smoking, but I don't know. I don't know. But I'm just saying. Well, like Ian Woosnam, he was always a chain smoker. I don't know. Yeah. But Oosthuizen seems to always show up for the majors, but I have not heard his name yet, so I didn't know.
I think he goes off this afternoon, or
we were talking about because Tiger has not played, and Tiger has had a good 2 weeks down there of practice rounds, Charlie.
Yeah, this is if the weather doesn't get cold and that causes some aches and pains, this is an easy walk.
Well, that's what you talked about when we were a couple weeks ago when you were on.
Yeah, this is an easy walk and not a long walk and a flat walk. And so, you can get in a funky lie or two on this golf course and have to stand at it really, really crazy. But this might be a place where Tiger can show up. He can definitely control the golf ball, control the flight, control the spin. I was hoping to see more out of Justin Thomas today. Last I looked, he was like 2 or 3 under. Mm-hmm. if the winds stay down a little bit, I really like him. But watch out for Cam Young. This is somebody nobody knows about. This is one of these typical tour players you get now. Comes out of college. He's really good. He's finished second on the tour 3 times this season. And so it is, people look and they go, I know Cam Smith, but I don't know Cam Young. And, just 8 under, and he probably left a few out there from the bit I saw. So I don't have anybody. Xander, my guy, has gone and won his last 2 events.
We talked about that. We talked about Xander Schauffele being your dude.
Yep. Now he's won two weeks in a row when he has played, and I don't know. That's a lot. I don't know that anybody's ever won 2 weeks in a row leading up to the British Open and then close out the British Open. Jordan Spieth, this could be a place. It doesn't put a big premium on driving the ball with tremendous accuracy, and we know what he can do the rest of the way. But it is just a bomber's delight today. Now, if the wind goes up to 30 miles an hour, that all changes and it becomes a different golf course.
Well, I mean, what is the weather outlook for the weekend?
I have not seen ahead other than the wind was coming up this afternoon. You're not going to go 4 days of calm over there. I can remember one British Open that it was like summertime here and hot and baked and nothing happened. It is cloudy. The winds come and go. It's out of the west, I believe, today. And so the golf course kind of faces east and west. So you have a lot of downwind holes today, and people were really taking advantage of that. It's tragic to me in a sense that you want 18 to be this brutal deciding type of hole, and it's going to be because it may be an eagle or birdie hole, and that's going to be what decides the British Open. You could come down, and the hole before the road hole has been lengthened, bunkers have been made larger on the front of the green, and so it's 505 yards as a par 4, and then you step on the next hole and you can drive the green on a par 4.
Every time you say bunker and British Open and disaster, I think of Jean.
It gets ugly. Bryson's over there playing pretty decent today. I saw him miss a short putt, but he's several under. I think that it looks like to me par for the course today is going to be around 68, probably 3 or 4 under. Tour players think like this. I'm working with a guy on the Corn Ferry and talked to him last night, and he's playing a course where last year 27 under won. And I said, what's par? And he goes, well, there's 3 reachable par 5s. He goes, at 69 or 68, in their head, they're like, that's where if I get below that, then I'm gaining some ground. And I think with the conditions today, that's what you're going to see. Even par is going to be way, way back in the field.
Sneaking up the leaderboard, Danny Willett.
There you go.
That's another one of your guys.
Well, I noticed.
Speaking of a client there.
Speaking of a client, I had the privilege of working with Danny when he was a freshman and sophomore in college, and Danny became the #1 ranked amateur in the world, got invited to a European Tour event on a sponsor's exemption, finished top 10, which exempted him into the next week, at which he turned pro and never came back.
There you go.
There you go.
Justin Thomas, incidentally, is still at a -2 through 12 holes. Webb Simpson at a -1. In case you're just hopping in the car, Cameron Young at a -8. He is done with his first round. Cameron Smith at a -5. He is tied with Ernie Els.
Yeah, it's funny. Ernie has been a topic of conversation. One of the things we do at Plot Performance is we have a golf profile, and I have a client right now who I just started working with who is his personality type and Ernie's are exactly the same. Usually Ernie plays well when things are good in his life. He won 2 U.S. Opens after kids were born. He tends to play well, and so I'm wondering now, is he a grandfather? What's the deal?
Don't make me feel that old, bro.
Well, I mean, he's senior. Lord. He's senior.
I can't believe Danny Willett. It's already been 2016, almost 6 years since he won the Masters.
I know.
Yeah.
So Ernie Els is playing on the senior tour, and
what?
Yes. Yeah. You didn't know that?
No, I wasn't
joking about grandkids.
Think about that.
I wasn't thinking. He could be old enough to be having grandkids.
Wow.
So Ernie would be a popular choice.
Yeah,
Man, would people flock to that? Can you imagine Ernie Els
that'd
and
be
Tiger
like,
Woods?
Well, no, that'd be like when Phil won the PGA and everybody went bananas over there. If
on the subject
of
Phil Mickelson, I did want to bring up with you, Charlie, on there was a noticeable time at which the live golfers were teeing off, and it was all when we were sleeping overnight.
So you wonder what's going on with all of that. They can't. If they go early, they're going to go late.
And so we're going to see them tomorrow.
We'll see them tomorrow. It is. I work with guys who have been approached by that tour because they were literally looking for a lot of these Korn Ferry Tour players because they had some amateurs they reached out to and got to fill out their 48-man field. So I've had guys who have been contacted by that tour in the past few months about playing. And it is a difficult decision. Can you imagine being 26 and on the Korn Ferry and somebody turn around and go, listen, we'll just guarantee you $2 million a year. That's
tough. I mean, that's life-changing money.
That is life-changing money, and most of them just simply go, I don't want to be an agent for the Saudi government, which is and is what it functionally is. This is money being put to improve the image of Saudi Arabia.
Yeah,
they've set aside
basically
$1 trillion for this, and this is just one of their things they're doing, and these folks have respectfully declined. And I mean, I don't know what I would do if I'm in those shoes. I mean, if I'm 26 and newly married,
I really don't know. Yeah, I mean,
Scott. Steve. If you turn around,
I'm Steve. I'm a little heavier. I'm a little heavier.
This is kind of like what we got going on in college football with NIL, and why the Miami Hurricanes are going to sign a top 5 class, probably top 2 or 3. Because they're Dirt Neck University this year, they're buying a recruiting class. That's why right now you're probably going to see the best offensive line class in the country signed by Mario Cristobal, who's an average offensive line coach overall, but a really good recruiter because their salary cap's going to be who knows what. Because John Ruiz is paying them all. Because look, Miami's tradition is right now. It was from like '79. Through to 2002, they've done nothing in 20 years, and they think so highly of their esteemed football program they can't even raise enough freaking money to build a stadium. And now all of a sudden they're signing, every other 5 stars committing to Miami, and it's not just because Mario Cristobal is some great recruiter, which he is, but when you got John Ruiz writing checks, just like with these live guys, and they're getting guaranteed all this money, it's like Dustin Johnson being as transparent as he was. Like, look. I mean, I want to play less, and I'm getting paid all this money.
Yeah.
Well, these kids right now are until the federal government steps in and regulates NIL within a couple of years because it's asinine to have a kid in high school, Malachi Nelson, showing up to practice saying, "What up, coach? That's my Mercedes over here and my mother's $2,000 purse she's got on her arm." That's ridiculous. You shouldn't be doing that in high school.
Well, and the British Open's going to be in a mess. Or I say this. I think golf is going to face another challenge. One of these live guys is going to win a major.
Yeah,
I'm sure
they're too good.
They're too good, and then they banned Norman from didn't invite him to the Champions dinner. By the way, it appeared that Nicholas may have gone for his last time over there because I saw tweets that he was saying goodbye to the British Open and the Champions dinner. So you look at this and go, one of those guys, now they've got enough talent on that tour, one of those guys are going to win. And then it becomes, I don't know if they've thought through how you deal with the press conferences and the questions that are going to come and all of that. I'm all for people making money and
yes,
I don't have a problem with that. It kind of goes against the spirit of golf. In tennis, a lot of times you have appearance money. The PGA Tour does not pay appearance money. You don't get paid to show up. Some of the European Tour events have done that, and that's just outright what Liv has done. We'll not just pay you appearance money; we'll pay you 4 years of appearance.
And again,
money.
I agree with Charlie. I'm not criticizing these dudes for taking this money because it's tough when you can change your life. And even Malachi Nelson, the quarterback going to USC, I mean, he's getting paid. It's not like somebody's coming to him and offering it to him, okay?
Well,
and right now it's legal. I don't blame these people. They're changing their lives, their families, but it still bothers them.
But, guys, one thing that we've already seen is the PGA has responded in terms of purse money is already growing.
Yeah.
So, I mean, as much as there is an outcry of that this is bad for golf, I think this is good for golf.
I think
really do.
I think ultimately it will be there. The PGA Tour is extremely fat. Years ago, I had clients that went to them over what was then the Nike Tour, going, we can't even make expenses if we make the cut. Well, now you can make a living on what is now the Korn Ferry Tour. You can make expenses. You can pay your way. But there's still a lot of money sitting back there in the coffers. So you may see that change. You may see money go down deeper, come out in the payouts deeper down. Ultimately, it may be very good. I think competition is good, and so I don't begrudge the Live Golf, all of that. I don't like the underlying how all of this is being orchestrated.
Mm-hmm.
If you only want to play in about 8 to 12 tournaments a year, think about that. The PGA Tour requires 15.
That's right.
And so, man, I mean, that is absolutely life-changing.
But, I mean, if you think about it, it's less wear and tear on the body. We know about how violent it is. Anytime anybody goes for a physical, I mean, a doctor will tell you how bad golf is for the human body.
Right.
So if you think about it, you're talking about the 1%ers who play golf. You're playing less golf, which means your quality of golf, in theory, should be better.
Should be better.
And we know all the physical problems that Tiger Woods had, and I mean, whether he allegedly did or not, if he did juice, I mean, that's probably why, because he was trying to sustain his body because of he played in a ton of events. I mean, he didn't play in every event, but he had to do what Charlie's saying.
He was training with Navy SEALs in the early 2000s.
I mean, he was trying to be able to stand up to the grind, and we've seen what's happened with his back, with his knees, his leg.
Yeah.
It's very difficult. And again, remember the controversy. You can't use a cart on the PGA Tour. You have to walk.
Unless you're John Daly.
I mean, you know.
Well, no, you got Casey Martin who had
remember that controversy.
Yes.
So be aware of this. The DOJ is investigating the PGA Tour for its practices, and I'm sure it's some sort of violating some trust agreement or whatever related to how they're dealing with their players, basically threatening their players that are free agents. They are 1099 employees.
Mm-hmm.
They are, just like if I were to go do consulting work, the company doesn't own me. They're just buying my time. And so PGA Tour players are 1099 employees, and then the company starts putting restrictions on them. So the tour is under investigation. I would imagine they can afford pretty good representation in that situation.
So one of my guilty pleasures, just for a quick sidebar, during the summer months when we're all just kind of jonesing for football, if you have not done it, Wimbledon Radio is fun to listen to. Second on my list is the Open Championship has radio play-by-play on it.
Wow.
And it is fantastic to listen to.
Yeah.
So,
and I've
7
listened.
paces away from the hole here. This to save his par. Over the ball now. White glove sticking out of his right hip pocket on its way. It's got the pace. Oh my God. It's got a little bit too much pace. Gone past 3 feet for Victor there.
I like the seagulls in the background.
Yeah,
That's priceless. It is listening. There is PGA Tour golf on XM radio, it's probably carrying this. And it is interesting listening to golf on the radio.
The passion that they have for both tennis and golf on the radio,
crazy,
and then you throw in the accent as well. I'm like, I'm all in. I'm all in.
Well, speaking of all in, Charlie, I mean, I know it's early. We're not even through with round one, but you talked about how the conditions are there for someone to even shoot in the 50s right now. Is there someone that you do like, or is it so wide open?
It's so wide open. I would love to see Ernie. I like Xander. I always like Xander. I think he is an up and coming and now getting their name that we're going to see and appreciate.
Scotty Scheffler -1.
What a year he's had.
3 holes.
I like the one reason I like Scheffler is he played college golf in Texas, and it is windy in Texas. I've had numerous clients out there in college, and it's not going to trouble him if the wind comes up. He's got length and he's really hot with the putter. It is just so wide open. If the wind really blows, I think it suddenly thins this field out, and you get into some shot makers, and those will begin to rise to the top. Right now, it is a driving and putting contest, and man, there's 50 to 75 guys who could all be sitting near the top of the leaderboard right now.
There really is, and I did want to pay tribute here. Charlie told us about this situation before we came on the air. We wanted to send prayers to his family, and anyone that wants to donate, please do so. But we always pay tribute to our listeners as well, and he's a loyal listener. He works closely with Charlie. Charlie, of course, runs Plot Performance, and he's been talking about his clients throughout our segment. And we really appreciate his support. But we wanted everybody to know about Phil Freeze. And his family has organized a GoFundMe, fundraiser for some medical bills. He was in an accident. Charlie, when was this exactly the day?
On the 28th of June. There were like 4 wrecks on 565, and his was the very first one. He was at the end of the line if you come going east and get off on the Parkway, and somebody behind him did not slow down, and the police report said impact was at about 55 miles an hour.
Right. He suffered a dramatic brain injury, or traumatic, I should say, brain injury. And he was a guy that listened every morning, was a very loyal listener to our show. Thoughts and prayers to Phil Freeze and his family. If you want to,
send me that link. I'll tweet it out.
Yeah, we will.
I'll send it to you.
Yeah, we'll tweet out that GoFundMe. They've already raised a few $1,000s. I was just checking it as Charlie had let me know about the situation. They've raised over $3,200 right now, trying to raise $11,000 for his family. But again, a lot of medical bills right now. A traumatic brain injury for Phil Freeze. We really I know he's meant a lot to your business, Charlie, and we really hate to hear what happened to the gentleman.
Be careful out there,
and again,
everybody.
Just be careful on 565. Be careful everywhere. Everybody knows I've gone through something as well. It's a very scary situation. You never know when things can happen. So again, we just wanted to pay tribute to his family, and please, if you can, we'll tweet that out. Please contribute to that GoFundMe.
Yeah, this is somebody he's 76 years old, working and just literally does everything that I don't want to do or don't do well. And it is, and we share an office, so I walk in every day and it's empty, and it's just one of the most wonderful human beings. He's never going to call in a radio show, but I walk in the office, and the first 30 minutes is what was being talked about on Talking Ball every day, and then the Braves.
And we just talked Braves this morning.
He would have loved that. He would have loved that. So anything anybody can do, it would be just tremendously helpful to his family.
Yeah. Thank you, Charlie. Always a pleasure to have you on, sir.
Well, and let everybody know how to connect with you at Plot Performance.
Yeah, you just go to plotperformance.com. There are ways to email me. We've picked up 6 new sports clients in the last week. Everything from Corn Ferry players to other pros. I was out on the water in Guntersville yesterday for 6 hours with a really, really outstanding bass fisherman, and they just keep coming. I came home from that last night and had a phone message from another professional bass fisherman. So it is. We've got
was his name Tom Abraham?
No, it was not, and I keep waiting for that dude to call me. If anybody needs help, it's Tom.
The czar, Tom Abraham.
If anybody knows.
He has my number. He had me on his show.
Clip that for Tom later on today. He'll enjoy that.
Yeah, and I'll own every bit of it.
Charlie, thank you for your analysis. Thank you for
you.
your thoughts. We always appreciate it. At Plot Performance, Charles Plot 1. We appreciate him coming into the live studio this morning.
Thank you all.
Let's take our first time out. More to come here on this Thursday morning edition of Talkin' Ball.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Mercury Motors is your car and van rental headquarters. You can rent the vehicle you need today. Family in town, sporting event, church function, no matter what your need, Mercury Motors has you covered with a wide selection of cars and vans available for rent. They have 12-passenger Mercedes Sprinter vans, 12-passenger Ford Transit vans, 15-passenger Ford Transit vans, and 15-passenger Chevrolet Express vans. They have 2 locations, Highway 72 in Athens or Max Luther Drive in Huntsville.
This is Wes Neighbors talking to Chris Haygood of Bob Wallace Appliance. Chris, what sets you apart from other appliance dealerships?
Wes, these appliances are going into the most used room in your house, your kitchen. The way we have these appliances displayed, it's easy for you to visualize how they'll look in your home. Wes, what sets us apart is the people. They're well trained. In fact, they live and breathe these appliances. And if you need service, you'll really appreciate our parts department.
Contact Bob Wallace Appliance at 256-533-2121.
I'm attorney Gary Lackey. You know, you'll hear people say we're like a family, but here at the Lackey Law Firm, that's really true, not just a saying.
I'm Justin Lackey. With my father and my sister, we have a special connection to each other.
I'm Jennifer Lackey. At the Lackey Law Firm, when we take on your case, you become part of our family. You really do.
And we'll always do whatever it takes to get everything you deserve.
If you're injured, you worry about getting well, not about paperwork or insurance companies or figuring out how to get to your lawyer's office. I'll come to you.
We worry about your case so you don't have to.
When you've been injured, we know that your case is probably the biggest thing going on in your life. More important than almost anything else.
And it's important to us, too, for one simple reason. Family takes care of each other, and at the Lackey Law Firm, we'll take care of you.
The Lackey Law Firm. The Lackey Law Family. 1-800-4RIGHTS.
No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
I'm with Thomas here from Talent Heating and Air. Thomas, you guys are a premier North Alabama locally owned heating and air company.
We pride ourselves in being deep in the community, helping customers with solutions that they can use to keep their house comfortable. We provide emergency services. You can reach us on our website at talenthvac.com, or you can call us at 256-503-4490.
Talent Heating and Air, let them put their talent to work for you.
AL cert number 21014.
This time of year, it's hot, but with Brooks & Collier, you can be outside and comfortable. That's why Brooks & Collier has deep discounts on a large selection of patio umbrellas, furniture, and grills. With these patio umbrellas, you're sure to have a nice, shaded spot to relax. Lucy knows the best spot is a shaded spot. So if you're looking to spruce up your backyard and make it more comfortable, visit North Alabama's indoor and outdoor living headquarters for over 75 years. 813 Meridian Street and at brooksandcollier.com.
Your Atlanta Braves are battling through the hot weather and big road trips as they look to push for a 4th straight division crown.
Next pitch to Riley.
Swung on, hammered to deep center. Hey, the man! Home run!
Tonight, the Braves hit the road for their final series before the All-Star break as they take on division rivals, the Washington Nationals, live in D.C. Braves Radio's on the air at 5:50 Eastern, 4:50 Central on the Braves Radio Network.
Had a wreck on 565 eastbound just before Glen Hearn. It looks like HPD has that wreck off to the left side of the road there. Got Patterson Lane near Plantation reported with injury. 231 and Lincoln Road had a motorcycle involved, also reported as an injury type. No hose, no mask. You can ask Dr. Sandman, that's Dr. Sandlin, for the medically proven benefits of the Somnodent for sleep apnea and for snoring. Dr. Sandlin, 350-CARE. Captain Nick in the North Parkway, Popeye Skywatch Traffic Center.
This is Steve Moulton from The Drive. Join us this afternoon from 5 to 7 with Wes Neighbors and me. Now back to Talkin' Ball with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. That's just weird. That's just weird.
Tyler Hudson. I can't believe I didn't remember Hudson. I'm pissed off.
Listen, an hour and 32 minutes into the program, and I get that out of Judy Yarman. That is a random Matlock reference from hour number 1.
There it is. Love it. Love it.
It is Thursday. So later on this morning on Talkin' Ball, you might hear that very theme song.
They don't make good TV music anymore.
They don't. Because as soon as you put that on, I would have said it's Matlock. I need to hear like one note, basically.
Thank you, Chad.
Thank you, Chad. Appreciate it.
It has been a busy morning this Thursday morning. As I mentioned, I think Greeny may actually host his program. I see him on Get Up. No? You don't think? I'll give you 3-1 odds that Greeny's going to actually host his show today. And then that'll be I had a fantastic email from a longtime listener to this station who was complaining as to when every talk show host was actually going to be on our radio station at any given day, because Chuck took a week off. Tom takes like 2 weeks off a month. And I mean, Greeny just...
what is he doing? Nothing's going on right now that Greeny's just away from his radio show.
I guess he has a lot of vacation time. That's what happens when you stay with a company for more than 2 decades, I guess. I'm sneaking up on it. Well, I've been here almost 13 years.
Congrats on the, 2000 show?
Yes, last night was our 2000th show.
Yes, congratulations.
Of the drive.
I haven't kept up with how many I've done. I started in 2015. I don't know how
you're well
guys
over
did
1,000. You're
I
well
know I'm well over 1,000.
You are well over 1,000. So with you and Scott, did that start in 17?
I think we've been together around 3 years now. Because
it was right before I joined. I mean, you guys were together.
2017 is 5 years.
Yeah. So, no, it wasn't 2017. I don't believe, because I was on the air 3 years, I believe, before Scott and I got together. Yeah, something like that. You
would think the program director would know that, but
I think it's been close to 3 years since we've been together that we started up, because I did about 3 years myself. And before Scott joined us, and he and I ended up hooking up. But yeah, because I was thinking about this the other day, because I think the anniversary, I started in like March of 2015.
Yeah, it was March. I do know.
I remember March. That. So,
I did want to play a clip from last night's 2000th show, and we've been previewing the previews, which means we've been previewing SEC football teams. Bless you.
Thank you.
Olin Buchanan was on last night. We talked some Texas A&M Dirt Neck Radio last night, even though I didn't reference to him as Dirt Neck last
I wouldn't
night.
do that to Olin. I have too much respect for him.
So I asked Olin, what is the biggest misconception that we all have of Texas A&M?
Tough kid, huge arm.
Oh, that is my bad. I queued up the wrong one.
Oh.
That is me asking him about Zach Calzada and kind of giving...
He told us a couple years ago when Zach was enrolled at A&M that he probably had, and he wasn't saying he was going to be this kind of player, but he just said if you look at a guy like Brett Favre and the kind of arm strength Brett Favre had, that's who he compared Zach Calzada's arm to.
All right, I'm going to do this on the fly. So I from hearing you earlier, Olin, you got Bama winning the West. I assume you have Texas A&M second. So let's get back to Aggieland. So biggest misconception of Texas A&M is what, Olin Buchanan?
Oh, gosh. The thing I keep hearing when I get people call me up and they interview me about A&M and saying, this is just a team that's always winning 8 games and hasn't made any progress under Jimbo Fisher. And I had to point out to one guy that, you realize when they only won 9 games 2 years ago, they only played 10. So to say that they've not made, and they should have been in the playoff, I'll die on that hill. They deserved it over Notre Dame and Ohio State, quite frankly. When you're the thing everyone's holding you against you is you lost to that Alabama team. Oh gosh, that's a major sin, right? Everybody else did too. So they've made progress. They made astounding progress, really. And I think last year they were victimized by a lot of injuries, and that happens sometimes. You don't whine about it and feel sorry for yourself, because that's part of football. But it's one thing that they had to deal with that really hurt them. But I think that they're continuing to make progress, and that they've dramatically raised the talent level in the last 4 or 5 years under Jimbo Fisher. So I don't think I think if you say, well, look at them, they're a team that's a program that's just an 8-win program, I think you're not looking close enough and doing due diligence to again, remind yourself that one of those years when they won 9 games, only had 10 games that they played. And then, every team, if they can have that year where you just have bad luck with injury. And I think that's what happened with A&M last year.
How many touchdowns did they lose to Alabama that year? It was 4. It was a scrimmage. Okay. I mean, come on. And if Dan Mullen didn't wear a Darth Vader mask and wasn't a moron, then they beat Texas A&M. Okay? I love Olin. He's one of my favorite people. But I'm sorry. They lost. They didn't just lose to Alabama. They got the piss beat out of them. Okay? That's the bottom line. This was not a situation. This was not LSU Alabama in 2011, Steve.
No,
where it was 6-3 in overtime, and it's the 2 best teams in America. A&M got the piss beat out of them, and would have gotten it beat out of them again. I mean, come on. Yes, he had a good year in 2020. There's no question about that. I've referenced it, but in between there, it's been mediocrity.
He had one really good year at Florida State.
Yeah, well, 2. Because the year after, they went undefeated till they got to the playoff, even though Crablegs threw like 20 interceptions or whatever the hell he did. And then they did lose by, 30 points to Oregon in the playoff, okay? They imploded, but they still got there. He had good years in 13 and 14. But if Gus Malzahn didn't throw up all over himself and blow a 21-3 lead, Dirt Neck probably wouldn't even have the job at Texas A&M. Hell, Malzahn might. They might have just panicked and hired him because they were trying to Texas A&M's boosters are doing anything and everything trying to be relevant. Okay? That's what they're trying to do. Trying to be relevant and win a championship when there's bars on the helmets, because there wasn't any in 1939. Okay? I mean, good Lord.
Phil Steele has updated his top 40 college football poll. Here is your top 10. Alabama, number 1. Ohio State, number 2. Georgia comes in at number 3. That is followed by Clemson. Then the Michigan Wolverines check in at number 5, followed by Utah, Notre Dame, Oklahoma, Texas A&M, and Oregon.
I just don't understand. I don't understand that one either. Oregon at 10, they have a coaching staff that's never coached a game together.
Yeah.
How do you put them 10?
Other SEC schools in the top 40, you have to slide all the way to, goodness, I'm still scrolling. Tennessee checks in at 27. Ole Miss at 30. Is this year?
Yes.
Yeah, this is this year. Ole Miss is 30. Florida 32. And Kentucky 35.
That's a little low, I think.
And those are your SEC representation. Also, Vegas has updated their odds as to who will win the national championship. Those odds now have Alabama at a plus 190, followed by Ohio State, at a plus 350. Georgia also comes in at the same plus 350. Then the numbers increase. Texas A&M and Clemson have the same odds. I said Texas A&M and Clemson have the same odds to win the national championship.
Well, I can see Clemson
at a plus 1,200,
only because they play in a weak sauce conference. Okay, the ACC is not nearly as difficult as the SEC. I still don't understand why people have Dirt Neck University in the top 5.
Oklahoma comes in at a plus 3,500. USC at a plus 2,000. My fault. I went out of order right there. USC at a plus 2,000. That's a new head coach right there. Oklahoma, a new head coach at a plus 3,500.
I can understand the thing with Lincoln Riley because he's at least been a head coach and been to the playoff.
Been
at
to
Oklahoma.
the dance. Yeah.
Dan Lanning has never run a game in his life. Why are you now? He may have a top 10 team, but I don't get that.
Yeah, and you mean Venables is at Oklahoma.
Well, he is, but I'm just saying Lincoln Riley has been to the playoff at OU and now gone to USC. But I can understand them being good. I don't understand Dan Lanning because he's never run a game. Brent Venables hasn't either. So
Oregon's not on this list for the Vegas odds to win the national championship. Coming in at a plus 4,000. Notre Dame, the Fighting Irish, at a plus 4,000 under a new coach. The same odds go to the Texas Longhorns at a plus 4,000. That is followed by the Michigan Wolverines at a plus 5,000.
Well, I mean, I'm going to be interested to see how Michigan, with the revamped coaching staff, because he lost his offensive and defensive coordinators. Well, and so did Lane Kiffin. Lane lost a lot of staff.
Yeah, he had to buy a dog because everybody left.
Dabo also lost a ton of guys. Now, we had Will Vanderbilt on this week. He really likes Clemson's personnel, especially defensively. Thinks they're going to have a chance to be special and win the ACC, and they may very well. DJ Uyunglele is going to have to improve, though. And, of course, he had a lot of receivers hurt, didn't have all his supporting cast, but, he did not look like a top-flight guy to me. So we will see. But really anxious to see that and see how and then with Oregon, how good is Bo Nix going to be? You know what I'm saying?
Is he going to start?
Is he going to start? I mean, look at Texas A&M. Haynes Green coming back from, King. Yeah. Haynes King. That shows how much I love ATM. But Haynes King is coming back from the injury. He got hurt against Colorado last year.
Max Johnson.
And then they've got Max Johnson, who beat Dirt Neck last year at LSU. One of the great calls we had live on that we listened to live as the LSU broadcasters went bananas as I pumped my fist as Dirt Neck went down in flames yet again against Ed Ogeron. I think it was Ed Ogeron's last game at LSU, and he beat Dirt Neck. So I really enjoyed that. And then, of course, we know what Dirt Neck did. He decided not to lose to Wake Forest and bowed out so he could go pay some more kids to come to Texas A&M and then tell everybody that Nick Saban should be slapped for intimating that was happening, though it's been proven ad nauseum now that it has been. Now, we don't know the amounts, but we do know they were all paid.
Tomorrow's Headlines Today comes up next on this Thursday morning edition as we wind down here on Talkin' Ball.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Had a wreck on 565 eastbound just before Glen Hearn. It looks like HPD has that wreck off to the left side of the road there. Got Patterson Lane near Plantation reported with injury. 231 and Lincoln Road had a motorcycle involved, also reported as an injury type. No hose, no mask. You can ask Dr. Sandman, that's Dr. Sandlin, for the medically proven benefits of the Somnodent for sleep apnea and for snoring. Dr. Sandlin, 350-CARE. Captain Nick in the North Parkway, Popeye Skywatch Traffic Center.
What's better than Valley Equipment Rental? 2 Valley Equipment Rentals, and that's just what we have now. The original on the South Memorial Parkway between Drake and Airport Road, and their second location on North Memorial Parkway just north of Winchester Road. Valley Equipment is locally owned and has more skid steers, excavators, and lifts than anyone in the area, plus all the small tools that you need to get the job done like a pro. And if you are a pro, you need to check out the new North location now because Valley Equipment has what you need. Learn more at valleyequipmentrents.com.
Ann Adams with Berkshire Hathaway Rise Real Estate is the one name to know if you're buying or selling real estate. With years of local experience, Ann Adams offers buyers in-depth knowledge of the local housing market and will narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in so you can save time when shopping for your new home. If you're ready to sell, Ann offers a seamless process using accurate pricing and expert negotiation skills to make sure you get a fair price for your home. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or log on bhhsriserealestate.com.
All right, where are we going for breakfast?
I kind of want a breakfast quesadilla.
Oh, I didn't know they were doing quesadillas for breakfast these days.
Well, Taco Bell is.
Wow, I had no idea.
Yeah, they have this Bell breakfast box now that comes with this breakfast quesadilla that's super cheesy and a hash brown.
Okay, wish I knew about this earlier.
And it has Cinnabon Delights and a coffee in it.
Why did I not know about this earlier?
Try the new $5 Bell breakfast box, only at Taco Bell. At participating U.S. Taco Bell locations during breakfast hours only, 7 to 11 a.m. for a limited time. Contact local store for prices and participation may vary. Tax and extra. Drinks exclude freezes.
I'm here with Stan McDonald of the Stanton Law Firm. Stan, I guess you are the Stanton in the law firm.
Yes, Wes, that's me, and we started the Stanton Law Firm so that myself and 4 other attorneys with me can help clients litigate, negotiate, and creatively solve legal and real estate problems.
Now, Stan, you grew up on a family farm in this area and have made a name closing on houses and land with your closing company, Jacob Title.
I grew up on a farm which used to be in the country. That, plus having closed on so many homes and farms, one of my colleagues started referring to me as a classic dirt lawyer. Now, I didn't know how to take that at first, that tag, but I realized that's exactly what I do and what I am.
Dan, I know the attorneys at Stanton Law Firm are regular listeners, and we plan to have you on periodically. You and I have seen have impacted this community.
Stay tuned, and you may hear about friends like Steve Booker, Clarence Johnson, Thomas Boyd, and even a few of those offensive line hogs like Hoss Johnson, and maybe you remember some other of those guys too.
I remember Clarence Johnson. He beat us one year. He was unbelievable.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
Did you know that your car, truck, or SUV may be worth over 30 or 40% more than it was last year? It's true. Bobby White back again for Woody Anderson Ford, and we'd love your trade-in for a personalized custom factory order on a 2022 Explorer, Expedition, Ranger, or F1.
We interrupt this message to announce our $1,000 appreciation cash reward. Attention all active military, reservists, retirees, and all veterans, plus first responders, police, fire department, EMTs, and medical professionals. An appreciation for making Huntsville the great city it is. You'll receive a $1,000 exclusive reward in addition to any public offers on most all 22 Fords. So please come see us today.
Our Ford Gold certified or low mileage, gently used vehicles with great warranties. At Woody Anderson Ford, whether it's a new order or a pre-owned, we promise to always do the right thing. Corner of Jordan and Sparkman. Hope to see you soon.
They have that wreck near Glen Hearn on 565 off to the left side of the road. Should not be causing a major problem. Patterson Lane near Plantation reported with an injury. 231 and Lincoln Road had a motorcycle involved with an injury. Still may be trying to get both of those clear. Had a water main break in Madison Wall Triana near Quail Road. I expect they'll be working with that one most of the day. Cajun Rice is back at Popeyes, and their 11-piece chicken family meal with 2 sides and 5 biscuits is now only $22.99. Popeyes, University in Jordan, 72 in Jeff and North Parkway. Captain Nick in the Popeyes Skywatch Traffic Center.
This segment of Talkin' Ball is brought to you by University Kia, the #1 volume Kia dealer in the state of Alabama. Located online at universitykia.com. It's time for tomorrow's headlines today with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Winding things down here on a Thursday. Dennis Dodd from CBS Sports, Drew DeArmond, has listed 2 coaches in his hot seat article preceding the 2022 college football campaign.
Yeah.
When are they gone?
One of them has to be Scott Frost.
We have a winner. That's one. The other one resides in the Pac-12. Herm Edwards.
Well, yeah, because they broke every rule during
How
the
does Herm
pandemic.
Edwards still have a job?
I don't know, because, I mean, it's obvious during the pandemic that they went to the Dirt Neck School of Cheating. So, I mean, you know, they had guys on campus in person that they weren't supposed to. And I love Herm, man. I love his passion.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, he's had guys leaving the program left and right. Paul Tyson's getting the chance to play over there. We'll see if he's the starting quarterback. My suspicions would be that he will not be, but he might. And I certainly hope he gets an opportunity.
So
we will see.
So here is the system, his tier system. 0 is an untouchable.
Yeah.
1 is a stay safe and secure. 2 is all good for now. 3 is pressure is mounting. 4 is start improving now. And 5 is win or be fired. The reason I wanted to point that out, to nobody's surprise, Nick Saban is a 0. Untouchable. That's obvious. Brian Harsin is at a 4.
Yeah, I can see that.
Start improving now.
They better. I mean, he's got to win at least 7, maybe 8 with the bowl game. I think they're going to be better, though. I know they're probably going to be picked next week when we're in Atlanta, and we look forward to being at the College Football Hall of Fame for SEC Media Days Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. But a lot of people are speculating that they may be picked 7th. I couldn't do that. And then I'll say this. I watched their football team last year. They were not a Chad Morris type Arkansas team that didn't look like. I know there was some buying that didn't happen with some guys, but it was not something where they were going out losing to the likes of a North Texas or a San Jose State, just looking awful. I didn't think they looked that. I know that people bring up the Georgia State game that they were lucky to win on the last play, but still, they played. They almost beat Alabama. They did beat Ole Miss. They had a huge lead against Mississippi State that they blew, but I know they lost the last 5 games, but most of them were all close. I think they're going to have a pretty good football team. I can't see them just quitting on Harsin. I don't think they're going to finish 6th or 7th. I pray it's Dirt Neck, but I don't think they'll have.
There are 3 untouchable coaches in the Southeastern Conference, according to Dennis Dodd.
Yeah.
2 of them obvious. That is Nick Saban
and
Kirby Smart.
Yeah.
The 3rd untouchable coach, according to Dennis Dodd, Dirt Neck.
I don't know how. I mean, they're not going to fire him unless he goes 0-12. And I wish they would. I mean,
you want them to lose to Sam Houston State?
Absolutely. I would love to see those boosters have to write like an 86 minute, whatever it would be, so Dirt Neck could ride off into the sunset on his horses on his ranch and become, an analyst for somebody. Because, of course, or he might be the next coach at Sam Houston State. He might have to move down through there. I mean, he wouldn't need the money. I mean, he could certainly do it. But, I mean, I wish they'd go 0-12. I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think they're going to be in the playoff. I disagree with Olin. I don't think they're going to be second in the West. I'm not picking them second in the West. I think it's going to be either LSU or Arkansas. Arkansas' schedule's so brutal, though.
Yeah.
I would probably lean more toward LSU because I think Brian Kelly can outcoach Dirt Neck, even though Brian's never won a playoff game either. And I know that
he's been there.
That Jimbo won a national championship, but again, even the sun shines on the dog's ass one day. I think it was luck. But, I mean, I'll just say that just because it's like I said on the show yesterday. Gene Chizik, great friend of the show. I think he did a great job as an analyst. He's back as the UNC defensive coordinator under Mac Brown.
Yep.
But was he an elite coach because he won one at Auburn? No. And neither was Ed Ogeron. And he won one at LSU. Just because you win a national title doesn't mean you're an elite coach. I want to see more about how you sustain excellence. Dabo did it for several years. Now we'll see, now that he's lost a lot of staff, if he can keep doing it. And now this is the litmus test for Kirby. He climbed the ultimate mountain, but can he keep Georgia among the elite? I think he's set up a lot better than LSU and Florida State were under Jimbo, even though Jimbo had one good year before it started falling apart. I do think Georgia, with the talent they've recruited, the only one thing I will say, though, is he's finally started to lose some coaches himself. So we'll see. Now, he's had a kind of a revolving door offensively, but he kept a lot of those core defensive guys together, but they won so big, Dan Lanning left. So, but he has Will Muschamp. That should be a seamless
Mel
transition.
Tucker left also
Yeah, he did. But he still got the Glenn Schumans with him. He lost his secondary coach, though. I want to see how Kirby replaces his coaches. But I still think they should be set up for success. And right now, let's be honest, the SEC West is the most difficult conference in all of college football. Division.
Yeah.
The East is not. The East is still a little down, and Georgia should be by far the best team.
Incidentally, I don't know what this says about Missouri's football program. Drankowitz is listed as a 2. See, I thought he would be bare minimum a 3, maybe even a 4.
Not yet.
In other words, pressure is mounting. You don't think pressure is mounting?
No.
But what does that say about Missouri's football program?
Well, they're in the SEC. That's what happens. And I thought that Barry Odom had more talented teams but didn't manage them well.
Yes.
I've said this repeatedly. A few years ago, and I believe it was in 2018, I thought that Missouri had the most talented team that I saw play inside Bryant-Denny Stadium that year, even though they lost to Alabama. I thought it was the most talented opponent Alabama played that year, but I think they went 8-5 because I didn't think Odom did a great job coaching that squad.
Kyle Wright on the mound tonight for the Atlanta Braves. You'll be able to hear that game as soon as the drive is done. Incidentally, the drive is live from Baumhauer's Victory Grill. If you need more interaction, we're going to add the big guy as well. It'll be myself, Judy Yarman, and
I was going to
Wes
say
Neighbors.
it's not going to be a Groundhog Day, but I'll be back in a few hours. Ripping dirt neck.
Greeny without Greeny, followed by the Tom Abraham Show. Is Tom hosting today? Oh, okay. That's good.
SportsMed is the official team physicians of the Rocket City